Hello Internet, it's Mike, and today I'm making a video about this, the HGLRC DVR Nano. It's a little 20 by 20 DVR board that you're meant to install inside your little quadcopters to record the live video from the FPV camera, whatever that might be, before it gets transmitted out. So it's the as clean a video as you can get from this kind of camera to watch afterwards. And it just came in a little bag like this. Didn't come with any wiring, but did come with a little instruction manual, some cute little HGLRC stickers, and some little 2mm standoff hardware came in there, which I actually won't be able to use, which I'll talk about in a second. Let's see, what is of interest? So here's the manual. There's some specs on the back. It's got, this runs on 5 volts, uses 250 milliamps, 64480 VGA, 24 frames a second, NTSC and PAL. And let's see. Now there's a Runcam also makes a similar DVR board, but their wiring setup is a little bit different. This one just has 5 volts ground and video in and audio in. And so I think the way I'll install this is I want to install it before the OSD. So I'll just have to, I guess what you have to do is split the video signal. So we'll see how that works out. And then on this flight controller I have a spare 5 volts ground for the LED, which I'm not using an LED, so I'll probably get the power from that to wire this DVR. And like I mentioned with the hardware, it comes with some 2mm mounting hardware, which goes through these little holes here. But on my particular model, I have 3mm standoff hardware being used, so I cannot just screw it onto the top. I'd have to change out some of the standoff hardware. So as much as I wanted to actually attach this to my particular stack, I'll probably just end up mounting this with some double-sided tape or a zip tie or something. So we'll see how that goes after I get it wired up. But let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, I think I've reached a critical stage now where I've got the ground and the power going to the DVR from the unused LED strip power, and now I've got the this is the video that's coming out of the camera. I've got it split into two, so one of these is coming from the camera and the other one is going out to the flight controller and to the OSD, and then that's going to go out to the VTX. So now I've got these two video signals spliced together. So let's try to get them both into the same port here, not port, but solder point. Let's see if I can do this, hopefully. Well, it did go in the hole. Let's see if it made a good solder connection. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So there's so when I got both video signals going in, or not both video signals, but one video signal going in, it's getting split, going here, and then the other one's going out to the flight controller for the OSD overlay, and then out to the VTX. And now, well, you know what? Let me just let's power this up. I'll power it up. I'll put a SD card in there and let's see if it records anything. Well, first of all, let's see if hopefully everything doesn't blow up when I plug this in. Okay, it's got a little red light on it. That's good. Where are the instructions? Little red light means record button, short press to start and save. Red LED indicator for recording. Alright, so the light is on. I think that means it can record. So if I hit record or hit the button, what happens? Now the red light's flashing, so it must be recording. Where are my goggles? Let me see if I'm getting a picture. Let's make sure we hooked everything back in. Let me stop the recording. Great. Alright, so I've got it installed here, and like I mentioned, I couldn't use the little 2mm standoff hardware because my standoff hardware is 3mm, so it wasn't an easy fit. So I just took a couple of zip ties and just put the zip ties through the mounting holes, and then just kind of attached it to the two halves of the frame. Hopefully you can see. Then it seems solid enough and gets plenty of cooling, so I think that'll be fine. And there's the how the SD card goes in. So there's just an SD card and then the single button on the side to start and stop recording. And unlike, say, on the Runcam Split 2, which has that little metal kind of shield that stops the card from popping out, this one doesn't have any shield, so we'll have to see how that holds. I'm not going to crash it. I had to test it, but hopefully that won't be popping out in any flights. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. So yeah, let me take it out to the field there and see how the footage looks. Okay, so here we are with some footage from the HGLRC DVR Nano. And what I'm going to do shortly is I'm going to do a split screen with the Fat Shark Attitude V4's DVR, which is what I was flying with, and then we'll just compare them side by side. And you can see there is a slight difference in the image, but right off the bat, I'd say this looks pretty good. So here we go. And this is the split screen with the Fat Sharks, as you can see on the left. And right away, you can see the HGLRC image is a little bit dimmer than the one on the Fat Sharks. But then if you look up at the sky, actually it looks like more like the Fat Shark image is slightly overexposed, what's recording on the DVR compared to the HGLRC. If you look at the clouds on the right, you can actually see the clouds, whereas on the left, they're mostly just blown out. So I don't know what to put that difference down to. It's just that the recording, the image at a slightly different brightness, and it looks a little bit better on the right because it's not so blown out. But when I was flying, I didn't notice anything untoward. And also, speaking to that, as far as I could tell, adding this DVR didn't introduce any noise into my image that I could tell, or latency or anything. Although I wasn't really testing for that very much, but I didn't notice anything different. Just adds about 3 grams to the weight. So again, you can see there is a difference in image. And also the environment I'm flying in is obviously not very RF challenging because I'm really not getting any breakup. I'm using 25 milliwatts and flying with a little, I think, Menace RC Raptor on the Fat Sharks. But I'm flying pretty close. I'm not flying behind things. There aren't a lot of things bouncing around. There aren't people around, other people flying. So I'm not getting a lot of breakup. So the two images in that sense look pretty similar. But if you're flying in an area where you get a lot of breakup, then the image on the right from the onboard DVR is going to be much, much cleaner and easier to see if you want to look at it later. But here where I'm flying, you can just, basically the only thing to see here is the difference in the DVRs and how it's recording things a little bit more dimly, but maybe a little bit more accurately. So probably at the end of the day, it looks a little bit better. So I'll just let the rest of this footage play out as I fly. I think it's like a 4-minute flight. So I guess I'll leave the split screen on, or maybe I'll just have the HGLRC DVR full screen towards the end, and then you can just enjoy how that looks. And then thanks for watching. See you in the next one.